In this painting, I'm going to be talking to you or for you. You see where you stand. The energy that I'm bringing into this painting is the energy of repressed femininity that I'm going to express. The reason why I'm working with this energy in this painting is not because this energy wants to be seen, validated, heard, understood, not because this energy needs to change anything or anybody. It's because this energy needs to be expressed for the benefit of the soul, for the benefit of my vessel, for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of femininity, for the benefit of earth, for the benefit of you. So if this helps you orient yourself and it helps you connect the dots, and that's great. If this resonates with you, that's great. If this helps you anyhow, if this entertains you, if this heals you, if this encourages you to speak and to move energy through you, great, perfect, that's the point. And if it doesn't, then please don't try to make it fit. You really don't have to. So, let's get into it, shall we? As I said, I'm going to be speaking to you, or I'm going to be speaking for you. And I'm going to approach the energy that is in front of me, which is your energy. I'm going to refer to you as to you. I'm going to approach it chronologically. Yeah. So as I'm standing in front of your energy, I feel it orange, so I'm going to start with orange. But it's not really, like that orange really doesn't have an information of its own. People would rush to interpret what does it mean to have orange aura and then go look for it and then read words that would kind of extract the meaning of it. But what's so interesting about your energy here is that it seems rusty. And by rusty, it means it's metallic, and by metallic, it means it's heavy. But at the same time, it doesn't really give a heavy impression. So the first impression of your energy to me is, oh wow, look at this. It's refreshing. It's interesting to see. It's kind of like, my parents, when I was a child, they used to cook tea out of sugar. So they would put sugar in a pan, and then they would fry that sugar, and then they would put water in it. And then sugar and water would form some sort of like a abstract shape of a candy. And it was caramelized, it was orange-ish, translucent. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And that's kind of how your energy shows up. It's interesting to look at it. It looks kind of artistic. Not really artistic. It's not a type of an aura that I would be like, look what an artistic aura that is. Not really. But there is something beautiful about it. There is something intriguing or refreshing about it. Where's my hair? I feel it pulling on me. Anyway. Yeah. But it's heavy. And so that heaviness doesn't really shows itself as, look, there's a lot of clutter in your aura, or there is a lot of heaviness, or a lot of something. There is no visual representation that is directly linked to the heaviness that I feel when I'm standing in front of you. It's more just an urge that I get next to you to ask you, do you want to walk out of your life just for a second? Like, I'll bring you back, you're safe, don't worry. But do you want to just take a break for a moment and go for a walk and find a ground where you can just lie down and do nothing for 15 minutes? Because I feel like that's exactly what you need. I feel like that's what you desperately need. And there is this need inside of me to ask you exactly that, to ask you, do you want to go out and just do nothing for 15 minutes? But that need that I feel inside of me to ask you that question, it just remains that, a need. So when I want to speak to you and I really feel like I really have to ask you that, it's like an urge. It's like, it feels like it's important. But as much as I really want to ask you that much I also feel like I can't. I feel like it's not appropriate. I feel like you don't want me to ask you that. I feel like you would know what I mean. I feel like my energy is moving in this direction and yours is moving in this direction. And sometimes there is a matching point where I could ask you this, but it always ends up being out of space. It's like something is off. Do you know when you sometimes find yourself being inspired to create something? Let's say you get an idea, you get an inspiration, you get an urge, you get a fantasy, you get something to do, something to say, a conversation to be had, and you organize, let's say, your whole morning. You're drinking your coffee, thinking that once when you come to work, you're gonna do this, this, and that, and then you're gonna talk to this, this, and that person, and you're gonna speak about this, this, and that. You carry an energy, and you're already kind of preparing yourself to have it. And then once when you get there, life organizes itself completely differently, in a way that everything that was going on inside of you that was almost substantial, almost like you could feel it. You could feel it for sure, and almost like you could see it happening already before it happens, and then it doesn't happen. Because the air seems to go in a different direction. It's like the wind blows differently, the energy moves differently, the life organizes itself differently, and it feels off. It feels off. Feels like something is off. You can't really pinpoint what exactly, but you just find yourself being in a space and not really fully feeling like you have yourself there. And some time might pass, hours, minutes, days, weeks, and you notice that you had something going on within you that did not externalize itself. And usually it always does. But in this specific situation, it didn't. And it just carries this feeling of something is off. It's as if, not that there is a wall between your energy and my energy, it's more that there is a membrane that separates my reality from your reality. It's as if we're standing on two different islands. We're on the same planet. You have your island and I have my island. We happen to be in the same country. But on your island, people speak with a certain language, and on my island, they speak maybe the same language but different dialect. And we kind of don't really understand each other. That's kind of how I feel standing in front of you. Yeah. All that heaviness that I'm sensing in your energy field, like, you will approve it, you will confirm it, and you will be like, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired. I want to move to another continent. I want to move somewhere where it's more sunny, it's more warm, and I just want to be happy sitting on a beach drinking cocktails. That's what you're telling me. And when I don't know you, and I look at you and I see all that heaviness and I feel the urge to like make it easier for you, but it just doesn't happen organically. All that heaviness I would attribute to your work. You know, we're humans, we have things to do, we have works, we have relationships, we have living situations and bank accounts, and I would be thinking, yeah, you probably work a lot, so it's understandable, maybe you need a vacation. And you could confirm it to me by saying like, yeah, you know, I'm a god of the microverse, I work a lot, I have a lot of responsibilities, and I have to think a lot. And then any normal person would say, yeah, understandable, I see, yeah, life happens. But it's not that. It's not that. Because I see how your energy works, and I see how even if you're a god of the microverse, yeah, that work that you have is exhausting. Yeah, you have a lot to do, you have a lot of responsibility. I see you being all over the place 100% of the time, thinking about 100 things all at once. But as much as it is challenging, that much it also gives you the grid. It gives you grid, it gives you a template of how your energy externalizes itself through it. The work you're having has shapes, colors, holes, tunnels, drawers, cabinets, where each part of you has its own space. You can fully express yourself through the job that you're having. So don't tell me that you're tired from work, because yes, it's tiring at the end of the day, you have to go to sleep in order to recharge. But as much as you're tired, that much you're also fueled and expressed through your work. So it's not your work that makes you feel so tired, you see. And then, if I don't know you, and I don't, I would also assume, okay, well, maybe you have a partner who is never satisfied with you. Maybe you have a bank account that needs to be filled. Maybe you have, I don't know, an apartment that you need to find. I don't know. I would assume that. But that, even if it wouldn't be my field of where should I put my nose, that would be an excuse for people who don't see deeper than the surface. And I do. And that's why I decided to work with this energy. This is one physical representation of how your energy feels to me. This is exactly how it feels. I'm not gonna comment. I'm gonna let the painting speak for itself. Alright. You see, another thing that I really like about your energy is that you have that ability to overcompensate. I will need to pause the video and get a tool that I forgot to take out of my bathroom. Okay, I'll pause it later. You know what I really like about your energy is that you have this ability to overcompensate for other people. People usually have their own energy bubbles. Each of us, we have our own energy bubbles. Some people have big energy bubbles, some people have small energy bubbles. Doesn't even matter why. But there are people, I see you being in a room full of people, and most of those people, they operate within their own vicinity, and they do not really have a tendency, maybe they don't have a need, maybe they just don't like it, to extend their energy to the other side of the room. Most of the people don't like it, you know, they just move within their own space and that's it. But you come to those people and you get the best out of them. And how you do that? You take the orange color of your energy and you create a bubble out of it. And it's kind of like an inflatable beach ball. And you throw it in the air and you throw it to somebody who normally wouldn't throw a ball like this. And you throw it at them and they have no other option but to push it back. And now we're playing. What I'm trying to say is that there's a room full of people and I see you being in there. Without you in the room is full of people. With you in the room, you have a team of people. You bind people. You're like, if you have like one quarter note, like a musical note, and then you have another one, you are that bar that kind of connects it together. You know what I mean? You bind people together. And not just that you bind people, not just that you connect people, you also bring the best out of people. As you bring the best out of people, you also bring the worst out of people. But in a way, you keep things dynamic. That's what I really like about this. And as I'm moving through your energy chronologically, I also have to say this. I have noticed your energy being in walls around you, in the space where you operate, in the space where you live, in the space where you practice your life, in a space where you work, there are walls. And those walls have your energy. When I look at those walls, I see you. I don't see you, I don't see your face, I don't see your identity, but I get the sense of your energy. And then when I look at your energy, I see walls. And right now I have to stop myself from talking about it because, as I'm saying, like I'm moving chronologically through your energy. And in this moment, I don't want to imply something that perhaps isn't true. But if I wouldn't know what I'm gonna know a few moments from now, then I would say that there are walls in your energy and that it makes perfect sense, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Until I see what's underneath the walls, these walls don't make sense. It looks abstract to me. So I don't know what I mean, but I see walls. I don't know what they mean, but I see them. Okay. Now let's move beyond those walls. When I'm standing in front of you and I see your aura being so orange-ish and so beautiful but heavy, I see it kind of like a treetop that developed itself. It's like a big, massive treetop. Like your aura is like a big tree. And it's not a treetop full of clutter. It's not a treetop full of stuff. It's more like an energy that grew out of somewhere. It's like when you find a tree that grows somewhere and you wonder how the hell did it manage to grow that big. It's not a position to have a tree. There's nothing wrong with having a treetop in your aura. It's absolutely beautiful. But it's in a space where when you see where that tree is growing from, it doesn't make you feel easy. That's exactly how I feel. Another quality that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of this energy is that when I was feeling this need to ask you to get away from your life for a second and sit down on the ground, there was that quality of, like, I looked into where could I take you? Where could I take you for that walk, for this 15 minutes of lying on the ground so you can connect to the earth and so you can come back to your senses and get a relief from carrying that massive treetop. And when I looked into the map, I realized that there is no such place around us, not in 15 minutes vicinity. Which illustrates the quality of this energy, and that is that of being tired but not having space to relax. Being overburdened but not having time to put it down. It's like needing a relief but not being in a space where relief exists. And there's this tension and suspension of energy where you're just kind of operating on a moment-to-moment basis, knowing that it won't end. You wish it to end. But your wish is so far-fetched onto another continent, into another lifetime. As if this lifetime doesn't hold a relief for the tension that you have. So you have to imagine another lifetime, another continent, another being. Yeah. When I'm standing in front of you, and I have to change colors now. When I'm standing in front of you, I feel like a plant. I feel like a plant, and I wish I can bring my plants inside so I can show you exactly how I feel, but I'm going to describe it to you because they're still outside. I have a collection of plants, and I was really proud of them. I was really proud of them. because most of those plants I didn't get by myself. I was getting them, hold on, I was getting them from my visitors. So whenever anybody would come to visit me, they brought me a plant. And so I have a collection of passion plant, which symbolizes passion, and creativity and sexuality and sensuality and so on. And then there is also sunflower that I got that symbolizes happiness. And then there's also lavender that symbolizes peace and calm. And then there's also daisy that symbolizes new beginnings and true love. And then there's one plant that I don't know what it is. I forgot the name. I never checked. And I don't know what it symbolizes, but it's there. I was very proud of having my collection of plants, and I put them in a corner of my balcony. And I started by watering them daily and watching how they grow and how they bloom and how they expand. Passion plant was flourishing. It was just so beautiful to watch how fast it grew and how it was just beautiful. But then something happened. A heat wave happened. There was a week when there was temperature like 35-40 degrees per day. And there was one day when I forgot to water them before the sun came out. And then the sun came out and burned all the plants. So when I came home, I saw plants being burned. Some of them got completely dark brown. Some of them just got dry. Some of them were like dead, completely dead. I think daisy is the one that still has a little bit of life left inside. But you know what I did? I took a big jar of water and I watered them. I watered burned plants. And I told them that, you know, it should be fine. We'll be fine, we'll recover together, and let's bloom again. And that's exactly how I feel in front of your energy. When I'm standing in front of you, I feel like a plant. I feel very welcomed. I feel like you're proud of me. I feel that you think I'm beautiful, and I feel that you like the function that I have in your life. But I don't feel like I can speak. I don't feel protected. I feel put in a corner. I feel burned. I feel put in place where I either don't have enough light or I have way too much heat. And when I'm burned, and when I'm already so damaged that I cannot function anymore, I feel overwatered and asked to bloom again. Yeah. That's how I feel as a feminine energy in front of you. And then I also look around the room and I see that there are other feminine energies. There is your sister, there is your mother, there is your partner, there are other female beings, and there are other male beings with dominant feminine energy all around you. And I see how you speak to them and how you speak about them. And it hurts me to see that your own internal feminine energy is... It looks like a stone statue. It's a beautiful stone statue. It's like one of those that people travel from all over the planet just to look at it and admire it. But it's a stone statue. It doesn't grow like a plant. It doesn't expand. It doesn't breed. It doesn't go through seasons. It doesn't change. You do call yourself a gardener though. But you know what type of a gardener you are? You're the type of a gardener who, like, if you grow a rose, you're not growing a rose so that it could bloom. You grow a rose so that you can follow a strict plan of how this rose is going to be. So your plan is that your rose bush is going to be 120 centimeters and not even a centimeter more. And so you plant a rose and you let it grow, and then most of it is on 120, but the rose flower, the one that blooms, the one that produces the scent, is 125 centimeters. And what you do, you come with a scissor and you cut the flower. You cut the flower to keep your rose bush on 120 centimeters. That's the type of a person you are. From there, I was also able to see where you came from. I was able to see how the feminine energy who created you, your mother. I feel so much hurt when I'm looking at her. Never seen this woman, but I feel her. I see her never receiving warmth, emotional reassurance, safety, protection. I've seen her never receiving that, to the point that she doesn't even know what that is. And therefore, what you have internalized as a feminine energy, you don't even know what you don't have. And that's okay. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. But even if I would speak to you directly, and I'm speaking to you directly, but even if you would listen to me directly and I'm pointing to you, hey, there is an absence of love that is present in your auric field, and I feel it. You wouldn't know what I mean, because you don't know. What you know is so normalized to you. That absence of love is so normalized to you, to the point where you don't even know what is missing. I see that your mother didn't love you as much as she loved your father, and your father didn't love you as much as you needed to be loved by your mother. I went into a triangle. I hope that makes sense. Then I've also been seeing how you as a child were crying again and again. And that cry still exists. I had visions of a 4-year-old you. I have to say 4-year-old, even though I'm not sure how old you are there. But I was seeing you crying and you being humiliated for crying. I've seen you wanting to play because play is fun. And I heard somebody saying, you don't play because you're having fun. You have to play to win. That's why you play. And from that moment on, I see the compartmentalization that is happening again and again and again and again and again and again and again inside of you, where you are competing against yourself, always, in everything you do. You always have to outperform, achieve, and especially when it comes to other feminine energies around you. The analogy that I'm getting about feminine energies around you is that of collecting Pokemons. It's like you have to get them, you have to obtain them, you have to collect them all. And each time when you collect a new Pokemon, you're always looking for the rarest one. You're looking for the most unique one, you're looking for the weirdest one, you're looking for the most exotic one, you're looking for the one who will outperform the previous one, as if they all speak about your values. And once when you collect them, you put them in this Pokemon ball, which is very small, fits into your pocket. And whoever is a Pokemon doesn't really have a lot of space inside. I actually spoke to one of them, and I asked, are you okay being a Pokemon? And she was like, what do you mean? Why? Of course I'm okay being a Pokemon. And I realized, you know, some people like to be Pokemons. And there is nothing wrong with that. But some people don't. Because people are people. And they deserve way much more space than being in a Pokemon ball. And that's what I was seeing, is like you have to contain them and put them in a very small space and keep them there. I was seeing the way you relate to feminine energies is like mathematical equations. My legs are asleep, I have to move myself all the time. You either have to obtain them, or you have to obtain something from them. And then there was this very cheesy split that I knew it exists on the planet, but I've never seen it until I've seen it in your energy. I can't touch the blue paint right now because I feel that there is this sadness of you as a child. I feel like it's raining deep inside of me, and I don't want to touch the blue paint for a second until I'm done with the child. I feel so much cold air coming from this paint, from that energy of your inner child. I've seen that split when it comes to feminine energy in your area, in your field. There are people that are safe next to you. We can call them lucky. It looks as if you love them, it looks as if you respect them, but you don't really. They're just not on your radar. They are around you, they are fabric of your reality, they are functioning as people of you. And yeah, some of them, yeah, you love them, and yeah, some of them you respect them, but you would never do anything to them. And then there is other part of feminine energy where you admire them. You can't have enough of them. You're absorbed by them. You're obsessed. You want them. You would do anything. You would go as far as you need to go to put them in your Pokemon balls. And those are not the people that you love and respect. Those are the people you destroy. Or hurt. If you don't destroy, you hurt. And some of those people, they like to be hurt. And when they get hurt, they don't read that as hurt. That's why they like to be Pokemons, because they don't see what's wrong. And they're kind of on the same, not really on the same frequency as you. Not really. It's like you have this like absence of love that is so normalized that you don't even know what I'm talking about. And they have this familiarity with pain equalizes love to the point where when I'm asking them, are you okay? They're like, why are you asking? Of course I'm okay. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, so I was seeing that split inside of you. I've seen the child of you, not your child, but your inner child. I was seeing it being humiliated, I think I said that. I was seeing it crying because it cannot play, because it has to win. I was seeing it being alone. Broke my heart almost first time when I saw it. I saw it not being loved for who it is. I saw it not being seen for the divinity that it is. I saw it needing to function and learn how to be functional. And not just to learn to be functional, but learn to function well. And not just to learn to function well, but to learn to function even better, which is a huge pressure. And so that child, like, it couldn't play, it couldn't feel, it couldn't want. Exactly, it couldn't want what it wants. That's what I was seeing as well. That child wasn't allowed to want what it wants. it had to adapt to being functional instead. And now I see you wanting things, and I see you loving yourself enough to get yourself what you want, but when you get what you want, you don't give it space and time. It's like buying a plant or receiving a plant and being so proud of it because that's exactly what you wanted, and then putting it in a corner where it either doesn't have enough light or it has way too much light. And thinking around it, for example, like this pathway of thinking of like, okay, I have a feminine energy around me, let me protect her. No. Like, I don't see that existing inside of your energy at all. Like, nowhere. To think that perhaps there is a danger and that you need to protect somebody or around you or something within you, and that you perhaps need to listen and see what it needs, like, that's just not existing. And then you let it get burned. And then you do water it, but too late. And then you expect it to bloom again. And then you're asking, why is it not blooming? Because you know you gave it water. So why doesn't it? I decided to work with this energy knowing how heavy it is. And now I feel how heavy it is because I didn't move. I didn't touch the paint for last like 20 minutes or so. And I feel so much heaviness about touching the painting. It's really heavy on my heart to see it. It's heavy on my heart to see you in this energy. Because in the best case, I would love to give you a hug. But it feels as if you're allergic to exactly that. And you know, I've never seen you, not smiling, I've never seen you laughing from your heart. I've never heard that. I've heard you laughing, but I've heard you laughing to other people. I've heard that laugh of, I'm above you. I've heard that, I've seen that. But I never really heard how your heart sounds when it's laughing. Some people would say that I didn't hear that because you have no heart. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that. All that heaviness that this painting is essentially is. Why can't I touch it yet? All that heaviness is not you being too busy. And it's not you having so much to do and being all over the place and being the god of the microverse. All that heaviness is you over-functioning and over-performing yourself. You're not living, you're performing life. There is a part of you, your femininity, that is pushed in a corner, like a plant put in a corner of the balcony and then burned under 40 degrees of sun, and then overwatered, and then expected to bloom, but it's basically non-existent. Imagine your femininity is like in the corner of this painting, like here, and then your masculinity is kind of overblown to compensate for the femininity. It has to remain functional, it has to remain logical, it has to remain practical, it has to remain in charge and in control. And it's overcompensating for the plant that has no space to grow. has no space to feel, has no space to be, has no space to create organically. If there is something created, then that's a stone statue. And that's what makes you feel so heavy and tired. Because you're not tired because you're working too much. You're tired because you're overperforming yourself for the internalized figures with absence of love. I have a painting called Absence of Love. I'm gonna link it down there. It's orange, so I might be a nice reference for you. But yeah, there are like internal figures that are living inside of you that are organized and centered around absence of love rather than love itself. And it's so heavy to be in this realm. It's so heavy to be you. Even if your life looks amazing, don't get me wrong. I see your life being so beautiful, you know, and who doesn't know you would be like, yeah, he has it all. It's like, you look like a role model, like an example of what to aim for. But damn, like, the reason why I'm working with this energy, beside the one that I already mentioned, is because recently I've seen a video of somebody on TikTok or Instagram, I don't know where exactly. There's this influencer, I don't know her name, if you know, please let me know. But she was being interviewed and somebody asked her a question. The question was, I have children and I would like to ask you, how do I train my children to be more empathetic? And the person who was interviewed, she responded with, that question actually makes me really sad. Because it implies that your children are not loving, kind and empathetic people by default as divine beings that they were born to be. It implies that you see your children as cruel and insensitive, blank slate beings that need to be trained to be empathetic. It implies that you don't really see the divinity of your own children. And I agree with her. I also believe that people, when they come to the planet, souls, when they come into the planet, they come by default. This blue is always like refreshing me. They come by default as empathetic beings. We all do. And it's this world. It's this physical reality. It's this earth systems that are teaching us how to be insensitive and cruel, and how to detach from our empathy and compassion for others and for ourselves, especially men. I agree with her. I had to pause the video to get my tool, but the reason why I'm doing this painting for you, for us, for all of us, for all the people that I'm speaking for, and for you and for me, for everybody involved, and for the humanity, and for the earth, and for the femininity, but for the universe. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't believe that you're a lost case. I really don't. And I know that haters gonna hate, and haters gonna hate me for doing this in so many ways, and it's fine, haters gonna hate, but I don't hate. I'll get back to it. I don't want to be that person that condemns you, that you have to burn in hell because you have no heart, and that you don't deserve to be happy, and that you don't deserve to be restored, and that there is no divinity inside of you. I don't want to be that person who condemns you to this, because I know that where you are, this energy is already hellish enough. To operate from where you operate is hell on earth. And I'm gonna create an opening. See what I just did? I created an opening in the painting. It's an empty space inside of the painting. It's not hope, it's not an obligation, it's not an expectation, it's not a command, it's not anything but just an open space with a little bit of grace inside for you to come in contact with your divinity. I will give you that space. I will not condemn you that you are any label that is popular on social media or whatever the fuck. I'm gonna give you space and grace to come in contact with your divinity. If I have to boil down all my creative work all over the place into one single sentence, that would be it. For you to come in contact with who you are. In this world that is so fake, I want you to be real. And I devote all my work to exactly that. That's something I will never stop advocating. But does it mean that me and everybody who is standing around me as I'm speaking for these people, doesn't mean that we have to organize our space and our life around this opening? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And another reason why I'm working with this energy here, because haters gonna hate, and they would tell me, why don't you just don't do anything with it and just move to something else and focus your attention somewhere else and create another world and create another life and create another painting. Why don't you just? The reason why I don't is, as I said, what has been repressed in one corner of the universe doesn't need to remain repressed in all corners of the universe. It has to be expressed somewhere. And speaking of haters, at some point in life, sooner or later, I don't know, we're all on different timelines, but sooner or later, energy like yours is so frequent and so all over the place and so seen again and again and again, and that's the quality of it. It comes again and again and again and again and again and again and again until you say stop. And you don't say stop with hate. You don't. And that's what I noticed, and that's what I learned from haters, and that's what I learned from hating myself. Not hating myself, but like me conducting hate. Is that the more you hate, the more you remain chained to what you don't want, to what you hate. Hate is a binder. The more you hate, the more you hate. And hate is not a solution. When you move through cycles like this again and again and again and again and again, at some point, that which has been exciting and exhilarating and promising and confusing in best ways possible becomes predictable, almost boring, almost. And hate stops having charge. Hate stops being the leading force. And instead, what you get is mercy and humility and forgiveness. And it's not a type of forgiveness that you impose onto yourself. It's not a type of like, okay, I'm going to forgive you so that I can move on and live my life. It comes naturally. It's not something you need to apply, it happens through you. And it fully allows you to not organize your life around this. It's like you can give it, I can give it. The reason why I created this opening is because I can. It's because I'm so rich that I can give you this space and grace to come in contact with your divinity. But because I have mercy and humility and forgiveness, I don't have to center my life around this. I'm speaking in the name of everyone that I'm speaking for. I feel obliged to say something for the people that are standing around me energetically, who are not fully centered in where I am centered right now, yet. I feel obliged to speak this out and to say, you are allowed to provide space and grace, and then remove yourself from it as far as you can. You're allowed to do so. Now, you know what I see in the end as I'm moving chronologically through your energy? I still want to give you a hug though. You have my hug. I'm seeing, like, you know how Jesus walks on the planet and then he kind of moves the water into... That's kind of how I see, through this opening, I see your energy being moved into... It's like if I would come into your physical space, if I would come in a space where your physical body is, and I would go above your head, and I would remove all that clutter, all that treetop that you have. I would just like remove that on a side and let it rest over there. So I create that space above your head. There's so much air. I feel so much relief already just by doing that. I create so much space, and in that space that I make, I see you sitting on the floor and crying. I see you crying. And it's not a little bit of cry. It's not like, oh, I'm crying, I'm upset, drama. No. It's the type of a cry that happens on the behalf of your soul, that your body is conducting and your mind doesn't even know what's going on. You don't know why you're crying. You might know, and then you know again, and then you know a little bit more, and then at some point it stops being overwhelming for the mind. And it stops holding and caring and keeping track and counting why you're crying, and the cry happens on its own. It happens through you, and it just happens. And it feels like a relief. It's a sadness. It's a lot of sadness, but it feels like a relief. It feels good to be sad. It feels good to cry. And I love seeing you there. And you know what? I see a lot of crying. And I see the crying twisting and shaping and changing. It's not necessarily just crying. Crying is not the only form of release. But I see a lot of you sitting on the floor and releasing things. I see you crying. And I love what I see, because to cry is to know that you're alive. And I'm going to end it here. I have expected to touch paint way much more than I did. But it is what it is. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present with everything that came up through this painting, and for everyone that this painting is for. If you would like your own personal painting, if you want me to paint energy for you and If you would like me to paint energy for you, the link is in the description. And if you would like to learn how I paint, I have a course for that. It's called Multidimensional Intuitive Painting. It's on my website. I would invite you to join me on that trip. It's quite interesting. And I will see you in the next painting. Take care.